about voting. So thanks to Gabe and the Dem Party for sharing that valuable information, because really it doesn't matter how excited we are for Democrats if we don't actually get out and vote and get our neighbors to vote, right? So I am a mom and small business owner. I live in Fort Myers. I simplified that. I've talked to some of you. I got a lot of exciting things going on in my life, but mostly it's about our family and our community that's really driving me. I care about our water, our health, and our community. Those are the top issues. The reason that I'm running is because I've spent the last 11 years here in Southwest Florida working with nonprofit agencies and government agencies, trying to help them become more efficient and effective and serve people better. I've hosted hundreds and hundreds of people in community forums, listening to what people say, what they want and need in their communities to make their lives better. I write reports. I'm kind of a nerdy wonk person like that. That's what I do. And I write these reports and I take them to leadership and I tell the people I talk to, I'm gonna take your voice to people so they can listen to what you have to say and make decisions that will make our community better. And every year I write these reports and I hand them to leadership and they pat me on the head and say, thanks. Do you think they make the changes that people want? No. No, they don't. So I realized that if I want to really serve my community and bring that voice to speak truth to power, they needed a champion. They needed a fighter. They needed someone like me that's ready to take that fight to Washington, D.C., to listen to the people so that we can serve them better. And that's true. So the other thing is I have a couple of volunteers here. So I have Eddie and Alyssa. They are actually students at Florida Gulf Coast University. I am, yeah, thanks for being here. They're getting up here. They're Tuesday night, right? I am also part of the faculty at Florida Gulf Coast University, the Department of Political Science and Public Administration. I teach government and global studies there. And we actually just did legislative session last week. So we were talking about what the legislative branch does. And one thing that I learned through even teaching my own class is that really one of the differences between the bodies in our government is that the U.S. House of Representatives was specifically designed to be the closest to the people. We are really meant to serve the people, to help constituents get what they want and need, to be that voice in Washington, D.C. for the people, not the powerful. We have 8 Republicans running in this district, 1 independent, and there's another Democrat. Okay? What I bring to the table that's different than every single one of those other people is a commitment to this community for 10 years to serve, to really truly serve people here in a meaningful way. It has not made me wealthy. I tell my students at MGCU that all the time. I'm not here for the money. I'm here to help you. I'm just a part-time faculty, but I think it's valuable to teach young people what our government does and what the biggest issues in our world are today and what role they can take in making a difference. That's what matters to me. I work with nonprofits not because I'm going to be a millionaire someday from it, but because it matters to see the passion that people have for helping their community and to helping them serve their community to the best of their ability, using all of my nerdy, wonky superpowers, okay? So that's kind of why I'm here. The other thing that I talk about a lot is our health, right? We all value our health. And Americans, we have a rough go of it sometimes. We go bankrupt more than any other person, other people in the whole entire world from medical debt. I actually used to run a homeless organization in Cape Coral. And the vast majority of people that I served and my other partner organizations that served homeless people and people experiencing homelessness, they were in that situation because of medical debt or long-term chronic issues that they had to continuously maintain. So they were going to the soup kitchens or they did become homeless at some point in time. That's my experience working for this community. But it gets even more personal for me. My daughter, on Halloween, before her first birthday. I thought she just had a cold. So I go to the pediatrician. Look at good mom, make that sick baby trip, right? Go to the pediatrician. We left in an ambulance. My first call, not to my mom, not to my husband, to the insurance company. Because I have 2 older children, a house, and a husband who also just recently had become disabled, which is another story in and of itself. And I was so afraid we were going to go bankrupt. We were going to lose our home, and that I wouldn't be able to keep my baby alive. No American, no mother should face that in this country. So 2 years, we were in and out of the hospital, ICU, chemo, everything, trying to save her life. Thankfully, we had Obamacare, because I was a small business owner. I didn't have the ability to buy my own insurance prior to Obamacare. Obamacare saved her life. I was actually just arguing with my aunt on Facebook about this. True. But I don't know what kind of care we would have gotten if we didn't have insurance. I'm not sure my daughter would be alive. Now we're looking at rollbacks on this. Pre-existing conditions no longer being covered. Lifetime caps being allowed to exist again. And my family cannot afford it. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, yeah, neither can yours. So when I'm saying I'm fighting for my daughter, your children, your grandchildren, and everyone else in our community who deserves to have a shot at life and to not have to worry about losing their home and being bankrupt trying to save their family. I'm going to bring it back up here because I know it was pretty heavy. Okay. The other thing I want to say, and I'll leave it with this, and if you want to ask me questions, go ahead. A lot of people look at me and say, gosh, you're just a younger-ish woman. Just turned 40, so I'm not sure I'm quite qualified as young anymore. They're like, what makes you think that you can get in there and lead? What makes you think that you can get in there with all these politicians and all these people with corporate backers? By the way, no corporate donations, no big money packs. I'm 100% grassroots, and I have almost 400 individual donations to date. What makes you think that you can get in there and fight with these people and really, really be the voice of the people? To that I say, you actually have a fighter in me. I used to be a professional boxer. In 3 countries. So yes, I used to be a professional boxer. I thought I was a really tough person in college, and so I started taking prize fights, and then I trained in Taiwan, and then I trained in Japan. The unfortunate part about it is I never fought in Japan because I never made weight. I was a welterweight at the time, but the heaviest fighter in Japan was a lightweight. But I trained and I trained and I trained. It was one of the ways that I got through my graduate study programs. All the way through, it was something I did. And I'll tell you what I learned from boxing. Because being tough is one thing. Taking a shot to the face is another. But here's what you learn, okay? First of all, you learn the value of community. Because boxing gyms are some of the places that have the strongest social networks that I have ever seen. I advocate actually for boxing communities in all sorts of community places, or boxing gyms in all sorts of communities, because it is a place that really brings people together. And a lot of it has to do with the second thing I'm about to say. You really don't know yourself until you've been punched in the face. This is true, okay? Who's been punched in the face? Just a quick show of hands. All right. Couple of the guys, maybe you guys were scrappers back in the day, okay. But here's what you learn, okay? It's not about just taking the physical part of it, but this is you. This is you. This is psychologically you. So when somebody's coming at you and they're physically hitting that psychological you either figure out how to persevere or you fall apart. And I'll tell you what, I don't fall apart. never have, not once, not through as many trials as I've had in my life, never fallen apart once. I might have cried, I might have had to re-strategize, but I've never fallen apart. And I bring that level of commitment to being a servant leader in this community. All right? So I'd love for you to check out my website. You can check it out at cindybanyai.com. There are cards here. I take all sorts of cash donations and checks. You can make checks out to friendsofcindybanyai.com. Also, Eddie has the Act Blue ready, so you can give him your credit card. We have a secure system. I would love that. I am grassroots. I already said that. So every single bit, you got $1, you got $10, you got $100, you got $2,800 because that's the cap. In a congressional race, I will take that all. Also volunteers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Running guns.